Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at how the foods we eat can actually impact our arteries.
Yeah, those crucial pathways for our blood, right?
Exactly. And we'll be diving deep into a YouTube video by Dr. Mandell.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one. It's called Eat These Foods to Clear Arteries Fast.
Yeah.
Catchy title, right?
Yeah, it definitely grabs your attention.
He really stresses how important it is to pay attention to what you eat when it comes to, preventing things like heart attacks and strokes.
Makes sense. Those are serious stuff. So what's the first thing Dr. Mandell recommends?
Well, he starts off strong, recommending we eat fatty fish, like salmon, mackerel,
At least twice a week, right?
Yep, at least twice a week. Now, I've always heard those are good for you, but why exactly?
Yeah, I'm curious too. What makes them so special?
The magic ingredient is omega-3 fatty acids.
Ah, omega-3s.
Yeah, they're like the superstars of heart health.
Okay, so omega-3s, they're in fatty fish. What do they actually do for our arteries?
Well, they work on several levels, which is pretty cool. First, they lower triglycerides.
Triglycerides, those are the fats in our blood, right?
Exactly. And if you have too many of them, they can be, linked to heart disease.
Ah, so high triglycerides, bad news. Omega-3s come in, fight them off. Makes sense. What else can these omega-3s do?
Well, they also directly combat the buildup of plaque in your arteries.
You mean like how plaque can clog up our arteries?
Exactly. Omega-3s can help make it harder for that to happen.
Like a cleaning crew for your arteries?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they can even help lower your blood pressure.
So it's like a triple whammy against heart problems, right? High
Yeah.
triglycerides, plaque buildup, high blood pressure. Omega-3s seem to combat all of them.
It's pretty impressive, Rao.
Definitely. What else is on Dr. Mandell's list?
All right, next up are nuts.
Nuts, like almonds, walnuts, that sort of thing.
All kinds. And, a lot of people already connect nuts with good heart health.
Yeah, I've heard they're good for you.
And that's because they're packed with monounsaturated fats. These fats are known to lower cholesterol.
Okay, that makes sense. Lower cholesterol, good for the heart. Is there anything else special about nuts?
There is. They also have this amino acid called arginine.
Arginine, I'm not familiar with that one.
So arginine isn't a fat, it's an amino acid. And it acts as a precursor to nitric oxide.
Nitric oxide, now that sounds familiar.
It's super important for your cardiovascular system. Think of it this way. Nitric oxide signals your blood vessels to relax and widen.
So more space for the blood to flow through.
Exactly. It's like giving your arteries more breathing room.
I like that analogy.
And this makes your heart's job easier. It doesn't have to work as hard to pump blood.
So it's like creating a smoother flow throughout the body.
Precisely. And a smoother flow means that all your organs and tissues are getting the oxygen and nutrients they need more efficiently.
So nuts are working on cholesterol and blood flow. It's impressive how much they can do. What else is on the list?
Okay, so Dr. Mandell also talks about turmeric.
Turmeric. I use it all the time in my cooking. It's a pretty popular spice, right?
It is, and it's got some amazing benefits for your arteries.
Really? I know it has anti-inflammatory properties, but how does that relate to my heart?
Well, inflammation is actually a major culprit when it comes to plaque formation in your arteries.
Ah, so the inflammation actually contributes to those blockages.
Exactly. And the main player in turmeric's anti-inflammatory power is a compound called curcumin.
Curcumin, I've heard that name before.
It's pretty well known for its health benefits. And there have actually been studies showing that curcumin can reduce plaque buildup by a significant amount, up to 26%, in fact.
Wow, 26%. That's a lot.
It is. So imagine your arteries have an inner lining, like the inside of a pipe.
Okay, I can picture that.
Now, inflammation can make this lining rough and bumpy, which makes it easier for plaque to stick.
Mm.
Turmeric, with its curcumin, helps smooth things out.
So it's like turmeric is helping to prevent the pipe from getting clogged.
That's a great way to put it. And there's more. Curcumin is also a powerful antioxidant.
Right, antioxidants. They're the good guys that fight those harmful free radicals, right?
Exactly. Free radicals are like unstable molecules that can damage cells. Antioxidants help to neutralize them and protect your cells.
So it's a double whammy, fighting inflammation and protecting against cellular damage. Turmeric really is a powerhouse.
It really is. Okay, what do you think about green tea?
Green tea. I love green tea. It's so calming and refreshing.
And it's packed with antioxidants, which, as you know, are great for your health. One of the most notable antioxidants in green tea is called epiglycine gallate, or EGCG for short.
EGCG, that's a mouthful.
It is, but it's a mouthful with some serious benefits.
So what does EGCG do for our arteries?
Well, it actually helps to break down plaque.
Break down plaque. That's amazing. How does it do that?
It prevents LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, from oxidizing.
Oxidizing. What does that mean?
Think of it like rusting. When LDL cholesterol oxidizes, it becomes sticky and more likely to form plaque. EGCG helps prevent that from happening.
Ah, so it's like a protective shield for the good cholesterol, stopping it from going bad.
Exactly.
So green tea isn't just a calming drink. It's actively working to keep those arteries clear.
You got it. It's like having a little maintenance crew working on your arteries while you sip your tea.
I like the sound of that. What's next on this grocery list for healthy arteries?
All right, get ready for this one. Watermelon.
Watermelon. Seriously, I wouldn't have thought of watermelon as a heart-healthy food.
It might seem surprising, but it's a great source of something called L-citrulline.
L-citrulline, what's that?
It's a compound that actually boosts nitric oxide production.
Well, wait a minute. Isn't that what arginine does in nuts?
You got it.
So watermelon is also helping to relax and widen those blood vessels.
Exactly. And wider blood vessels mean better blood flow, which is good news for your heart.
Okay, so watermelon, it's not just a refreshing treat, it's actually working hard to keep those arteries healthy.
It's a multitasker. Okay, now we're getting to another superstar. Spinach.
Spinach, like Popeye's favorite food.
The one and only. You probably already know that spinach is packed with nutrients, but it's especially good for your arteries because of its potassium and fiber content.
Okay, so those are both good for you, but how do they benefit your arteries specifically?
Let's start with potassium. It's a mineral that helps regulate blood pressure.
Blood pressure, that's important, right?
It is. When you don't get enough potassium, your blood pressure can rise, and that puts extra strain on your arteries.
Ah, so potassium acts like a pressure valve for your circulatory system.
That's a good way to think about it. Now, fiber, especially the soluble kind, is like a cholesterol magnet.
A cholesterol magnet, what do you mean?
When you eat foods with soluble fiber, it binds to cholesterol in your digestive system and prevents it from getting absorbed into your bloodstream.
Oh, so it's like a filter capturing the bad cholesterol before it can get into your arteries.
You got it. It's like a little cleanup crew working in your gut.
I like the way these foods are working together to keep things clean and running smoothly. So what's next on the list?
Avocado.
Avocados. I love avocados. They're so creamy and delicious.
And they're known for their healthy fats.
Right, monounsaturated fats. Those are the good kind of fats, right?
Exactly. And they're like the superheroes of the fat world when it comes to your heart. They have this awesome ability to lower LDL cholesterol, which is the bad kind, without affecting HDL cholesterol, the good kind.
So they're very selective. They target the bad cholesterol while leaving the good cholesterol alone.
They're like smart bombs, going after the troublemakers without harming the good guys.
I love that. What other benefits do avocados have?
Well, they can help keep your blood sugar levels stable, which is important for overall health. And they also contain antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin, which are especially good for your eye health.
So good for your heart, good for your eyes. What's not to love about avocados? What else is on Dr. Mandell's list?
He's a big fan of olive oil.
Olive oil. Another one of my favorites. I use it all the time in my cooking. It's a staple in the Mediterranean diet, right?
It is. And that diet is known for its heart health benefits.
So what's so special about olive oil?
Well, extra virgin olive oil, in particular, is rich in polyphenols.
Polyphenols. Those are like antioxidants on steroids. Right?
Pretty much. They're super powerful when it comes to fighting inflammation.
Mm.
And you know how inflammation can damage your arteries.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot today. Inflammation is definitely not our friend when it comes to heart health.
Right. And the healthy fats in olive oil also help to keep your cholesterol levels in check, which further reduces your risk of heart disease.
So olive oil is working on inflammation and cholesterol. It's a real powerhouse for heart health.
It really is. Okay, now, this next one might surprise you. Asparagus.
Asparagus, I wouldn't have guessed that. It's delicious, but what makes it good for your arteries?
Well, it's a good source of fiber and minerals, and some believe it may even help to dissolve existing blood clots.
Dissolve blood clots. Wow, that's amazing.
It's still being studied, but it's a very intriguing possibility.
Okay, you've got my attention. Asparagus. It's officially on my shopping list.
Huh?
What else is on Dr. Mandell's list?
He's a big fan of pomegranates.
Pomegranates. Those are delicious. But how do they help our arteries?
They're loaded with something called phytochemicals.
Phytochemicals, those are like plant power, right?
Exactly. They act as antioxidants, protecting your cells from damage. And in this case, they help to shield the lining of your arteries.
So it's like they're providing an extra layer of armor for your blood vessels. That's pretty cool.
It is. And there's more. Pomegranates also stimulate the production of nitric oxide.
Nitric oxide. Again, it seems like it's the key to healthy arteries.
It really is. And pomegranates are like, hey, let's make some more of that. They keep those arteries open and flexible, which is exactly what we want.
Okay, pomegranates, they're officially superheroes in my book. What's next?
Next up is cayenne pepper.
Cayenne pepper. That's spicy. I wouldn't have thought of it as heart healthy.
It might surprise you, but it's got some great benefits for your arteries.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How does it work?
Cayenne pepper contains capsaicin, the compound that gives it that signature heat. And capsaicin has been shown to improve circulation, strengthen blood vessels, and even reduce plaque buildup.
Wow, so it's like a workout for your circulatory system.
That's a good way to put it. And part of how it works is by, you guessed it, stimulating the release of nitric oxide.
Nitric oxide is back. It really is the MVP of heart health.
It really is. And capsaicin also has anti-inflammatory properties, which, as we know, are good for keeping those arteries healthy.
So it's like a multi-pronged attack against heart problems. Spicy but effective.
Exactly. It can also help break up mucus, which can be helpful if you have a cold or the flu.
So a heart-healthy spice that can also help fight off a cold. Sign me up. What else is on Dr. Mandell's list?
All right, last but certainly not least, we have berries.
Berries, like raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, all the good stuff.
All of them. They're delicious, and they're packed with antioxidants, which we know are great for protecting our cells.
But what makes them so good for our arteries specifically?
Well, they're high in fiber and low on the glycemic index, which means they won't cause a spike in your blood sugar.
So they're good for keeping blood sugar stable.
Exactly. And they're also full of those antioxidants we talked about, which can help lower bad cholesterol and triglycerides.
Okay, so good for blood sugar, good for cholesterol, good for fighting free radicals. Berries are checking a lot of boxes.
They really are. And they're especially rich in compounds called anthocyanins.
Anthocyanins, I've never heard of those.
They're what give berries their vibrant colors.
Oh, so like the reds, blues, and purples.
Exactly. And it turns out those colors are more than just pretty. They also have some great health benefits. Anthocyanins have been shown to lower blood pressure and even improve the elasticity of your blood vessels.
What does that mean, elasticity?
Think of a rubber band. A healthy blood vessel is like a new rubber band. It's flexible and can stretch and recoil easily.
Okay, I can picture that.
But as we age, or if we don't take care of ourselves, our blood vessels can become less elastic, more like an old stiff rubber band.
That doesn't sound good.
It's not. But the good news is that anthocyanins can help maintain that youthful flexibility.
So they're like an anti-aging treatment for our blood vessels. I love it.
It's pretty cool. And I've got one more food to talk about. Garlic.
Garlic. I can't imagine cooking without garlic. It adds so much flavor.
And it's been used for its medicinal properties for centuries.
I know it's good for you, but how does it benefit your arteries specifically?
Well, garlic has been shown to reduce bad cholesterol, widen blood vessels, improve circulation, and even prevent the hardening of the arteries.
Wow, it's a real multitasker when it comes to heart health.
It really is. And it achieves all this thanks to its antioxidants, especially vitamin C and E.
Right, those are the ones that fight free radicals.
Exactly. So garlic's antioxidants help to protect your cells from damage, including the cells that make up your arteries.
It's amazing how much power a simple ingredient like garlic has. Dr. Mandell has given us a pretty comprehensive list of foods that are beneficial for our arteries.
He really has. He also emphasizes that it's not just about eating these foods in isolation. It's about incorporating them into a holistic approach to heart health.
What does he mean by holistic?
He means that we should also focus on other important things like exercise, hydration, sleep, and even maintaining a positive mindset.
So it's about taking care of our overall well-being, not just what we eat.
Exactly. All these factors work together to support our health, including the health of our arteries.
This is all great information. We've covered a lot of ground already, but I know there's more to come in this deep dive.
That's right. In Part 2, we'll delve even deeper into the science behind how these foods work their magic.
I'm looking forward to that. Stay tuned for Part 2 of our deep dive into artery health.
Welcome back to our deep dive into artery health. It's really amazing to think about how these everyday foods can have such a big impact on our cardiovascular system.
It is, isn't it? And in this part, I thought we could take a closer look at the science behind how these foods actually work their magic. Yeah, let's get into the nitty-gritty. We talked about omega-3s and how they lower those bad fats, the triglycerides.
Right, and remember how they can also fight inflammation.
Yeah, you mentioned that, but how does that specifically help Our arteries.
Well, imagine the inner lining of your arteries. It's a smooth, delicate surface.
Like the inside of a pipe.
Exactly. Now, when inflammation happens, it's like that smooth surface gets rough and irritated.
Ah, so it's not so smooth anymore.
Right, and that makes it easier for plaque to stick.
Plaque, that's the buildup of cholesterol and other stuff, right?
Exactly. In omega-3s, they help to calm that inflammation down, keeping the lining smooth and less prone to plaque buildup.
So it's like they're soothing those irritated blood vessels.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, now, we also talked about how nuts can boost nitric oxide, which helps with blood flow.
Yeah, nitric oxide is so important for our cardiovascular system.
It is, but I'm still a little fuzzy on how that whole process works.
Okay, so remember arginine, the amino acid we talked about that's found in nuts?
Yeah, arginine.
Well, your body actually uses arginine to create nitric oxide.
So arginine is like the building block for nitric oxide.
Exactly. Think of nitric oxide as a messenger molecule.
Yeah.
It travels to your blood vessels and tells them to relax and widen.
So it's like it's giving them a signal to chill out and let the blood flow more easily.
Exactly. And that widening allows more blood to flow through, which takes some of the burden off your heart.
And it makes sure that all those organs and tissues are getting the oxygen and nutrients they need.
Exactly. It's all about efficiency.
Okay, so arginine helps make nitric oxide, which then signals the blood vessels to relax and widen. Got it. Now, what about turmeric?
Turmeric.
We talked about its anti-inflammatory power, but does it do anything else to protect our arteries?
It does. It also helps to reduce something called oxidative stress.
Oxidative stress, that sounds serious.
It is something to be mindful of. You can think of oxidative stress like a constant battle happening inside your cells.
A battle?
Yeah. On one side, you've got free radicals, those unstable molecules that can damage cells.
Right, the bad guys.
And on the other side, you've got antioxidants, which neutralize those free radicals.
The good guys.
Exactly. And when there are too many free radicals and not enough antioxidants, that's when oxidative stress takes over.
So it's like an imbalance, like the bad guys are winning.
That's a good way to think about it. And turmeric, or specifically curcumin, is a powerful antioxidant. It steps in to neutralize those harmful free radicals and helps protect your cells from damage.
Including the cells in our arteries, right?
Absolutely. It's like having a shield against those free radicals.
Okay, so turmeric is fighting inflammation and protecting against cell damage. 2 birds, 1 stone. Now, what about green tea? We know it's got that potent antioxidant EGCG.
Right, EGCG. It's a mouthful to say.
It is. But you said it helps break down plaque. How does it do that?
Well, it targets LDL cholesterol, the bad kind, and it prevents it from oxidizing.
Oxidizing. Remind me what that means again.
Think of it like metal rusting. When LDL cholesterol oxidizes, it becomes sticky and more likely to stick to the artery walls, forming plaque.
Right.
EGCG helps to stop that from happening.
So EGCG is like a rust-proofing agent for our cholesterol.
That's a good analogy. It's like a bodyguard, protecting the LDL from going bad.
Okay, I'm starting to understand this more. Now, we talked about watermelon.
Watermelon, yeah.
It's still surprising to me that it's good for our arteries. Does it do anything besides boost nitric oxide?
It does. It's also a good source of lycopene.
Lycopene.
It's another powerful antioxidant.
Right, antioxidants. They fight those free radicals that can damage our cells.
Exactly. And lycopene is no exception. It helps to protect the cells in your arteries from damage.
Okay, so watermelon, it's working on multiple levels to keep our cardiovascular system happy.
It really is. It's more than just a delicious summer treat. Now, how about we revisit spinach?
Spinach, yeah, let's talk about that.
Remember how we talked about how it's packed with potassium and fiber?
Yeah, those are both good for you in general, but remind me how they specifically benefit our arteries.
Sure. So potassium, it's a real MVP when it comes to regulating blood pressure.
Blood pressure is so important for heart health.
It is.
Yeah.
And when your blood pressure is high, it puts extra strain on your arteries.
Makes sense. Too much pressure isn't good for anything.
Exactly. So potassium helps to relax those blood vessels, which lowers blood pressure and eases the strain.
It's like a natural pressure regulator for our circulatory system.
That's a great way to put it. And now let's talk about fiber.
Fiber, yeah. That's the stuff that keeps things moving, right?
It does, but it's also a cholesterol superhero.
A cholesterol superhero? How so?
Well, specifically soluble fiber, it's like a cholesterol magnet.
A magnet.
Yeah. So when you eat foods rich in soluble fiber, it binds to cholesterol in your digestive system and prevents it from being absorbed into your bloodstream.
So it's like it's grabbing the cholesterol before it can get into our arteries and cause problems.
Exactly. It's like a sponge soaking up all that excess cholesterol.
I love these analogies. They make it so much easier to understand.
I'm glad. Now, what about avocados? Remember those monounsaturated fats we talked about?
Yeah, the good fats. They're what make avocados so creamy and delicious.
And they're heart healthy too.
But remind me how they affect our cholesterol levels.
Well, monounsaturated fats are like the superheroes of the fat world when it comes to heart health. They have this unique ability to lower LDL cholesterol, the bad kind, without affecting HDL cholesterol, the good kind.
So they're very specific in their targets.
They are. It's like they're going in and saying, bad cholesterol, you're out of here, while leaving the good cholesterol to do its job.
That's pretty impressive.
It is. It's all about balance. And speaking of balance, let's talk about olive oil again.
Olive oil, the Mediterranean staple.
Exactly. And it's not just delicious, it's packed with those polyphenols we talked about earlier.
Polyphenols, the super antioxidants.
Right. They help to fight inflammation, which, as we know, can damage our arteries. And olive oil also helps to create a better balance of cholesterol in your body, which is key for reducing the risk of heart disease.
So olive oil is working on both inflammation and cholesterol. It's a real all-rounder when it comes to heart health.
It really is. It's one of those ingredients that's good for so many things. Okay. Now, let's circle back to asparagus. We briefly mentioned its potential to dissolve blood clots.
Yeah, that was a pretty amazing claim.
It is. And while more research is needed on that front, asparagus has other benefits too. It's a good source of folate.
Folate, that's important, right?
It is. Folate is a B vitamin that plays a role in heart health. It helps lower levels of homocysteine.
Homocysteine, what's that?
It's an amino acid that's been linked to an increased risk of heart disease.
So too much homocysteine is a bad thing?
Exactly. And folate helps keep those levels in check.
Okay, so it's like folate is a peacekeeper, making sure those homocysteine levels don't get out of control. Now, what about pomegranates?
Pomegranates, they're a nutritional powerhouse.
We talked about their antioxidant power and how they can boost nitric oxide. But how do they actually stimulate nitric oxide production?
Well, they contain nitrates.
Nitrates.
Yep. And your body can actually convert nitrates into, you guessed it, nitric oxide.
Wow, so pomegranates are providing the raw materials for our bodies to make more nitric oxide.
Exactly. It's like they're giving our bodies a helping hand.
I'm starting to see a pattern here. A lot of these foods we're discussing seem to work in different ways to achieve the same goal, healthy arteries and better blood flow. It's like they're all part of a team.
I like that analogy. They're all working together to support our cardiovascular health.
Now, what about cayenne pepper? How does it actually improve circulation?
Cayenne pepper's magic ingredient is capsaicin.
Capsaicin, that's what gives it the heat, right?
Exactly. And it works in a few different ways. First, it stimulates the release of, you guessed it again, nitric oxide.
Nitric oxide, there it is again. It really is a recurring theme here.
It is. And capsaicin also has anti-inflammatory properties, which help to protect the lining of your arteries.
Okay, so it's calming inflammation and boosting nitric oxide.
Exactly. And it can even reduce the stickiness of platelets.
Platelet?
Those are the tiny blood cells that are involved in clotting.
So it's helping to keep our blood flowing smoothly.
Exactly. It's like it's giving our circulatory system a little boost.
Now let's talk about berries. We know they're full of antioxidants, but what makes them stand out when it comes to heart health?
Well, berries are packed with anthocyanins.
Anthocyanins.
Those are the pigments that give berries their beautiful colors.
Oh, the reds, blues, and purples.
Exactly. And it turns out that these pigments aren't just pretty to look at, they're also really good for us. Anthocyanins have been shown to reduce inflammation, lower blood pressure, and even improve the function of your blood vessels.
So they're not just antioxidants, they have these other specific benefits for our arteries.
They do. They're like a multi-talented team of protectors for our cardiovascular system.
I love that. Now, what about garlic? We've talked about its antioxidant power, but how does it specifically protect our arteries?
Garlic's secret weapon is a compound called allicin.
Allicin.
Yeah. It's what gives garlic that distinctive pungent odor.
So it's the stuff that makes garlic, well, garlic.
Exactly. And allicin is the reason why garlic have all those amazing heart health benefits. It's been shown to lower blood pressure, reduce cholesterol levels, and even inhibit platelet aggregation, which is how blood clots form.
So it's like a multitasking superhero working on several fronts to keep our blood vessels healthy.
That's a great way to put it. It's another example of how even simple ingredients can have a profound impact on our health.
It's incredible. So we've explored all these amazing foods and how they work their magic on our arteries. I feel like we've covered a lot of ground.
We have. It's clear that these foods are more than just delicious. They're packed with compounds that can protect our cardiovascular system.
They really are. They're like little warriors fighting for our heart health.
And the best part is that we can easily incorporate these foods into our daily lives.
And in the next part of our deep dive, we'll explore exactly how to do that. We'll move from the science to practical tips on how to make these foods a regular part of your diet.
I'm looking forward to it. It's time to put all this knowledge into action.
Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll learn how to transform our kitchens into heart-healthy havens. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've spent the last 2 parts exploring all these amazing foods that can benefit our arteries. But now the question is, how do we actually put all this knowledge into practice?
Right. It's one thing to understand the science,
Yeah,
but it's another to actually make it part of your daily life.
exactly. So where do we begin? How can we start incorporating these artery-friendly foods into our meals?
Let's start with breakfast.
Breakfast, the most important meal of the day, right?
They say so. A lot of people
Yeah.
start their day with, sugary cereals or pastries,
Mhm.
but those are actually not doing your arteries any favors.
So what are some better options? Some heart-healthy breakfast ideas?
Well, oatmeal's always a good choice.
Oatmeal.
It's full of fiber, which helps to lower cholesterol, remember?
Right, fiber's good.
And you can make it even more artery-friendly by adding things like berries for those antioxidants and a sprinkle of nuts for healthy fats and that arginine, the precursor to nitric oxide.
So it's like a triple threat against artery damage right from the start of your day.
Exactly. You're setting yourself up for success from the first bite.
I like it. Now, what about lunch? I often find myself grabbing something quick and easy.
I hear you. Lunch can be tough.
It can, but those quick and easy options aren't always the healthiest.
You're right, convenience often comes at a cost. But salads are a popular choice for lunch.
Salads, yeah.
We can make those work harder for our arteries, too.
Really? How so?
Well, instead of just using iceberg lettuce,
Mm-hmm.
try spinach or kale.
Oh, yeah, those are packed with nutrients.
Exactly. They've got potassium, fiber, all the good stuff.
Okay, so spinach or kale for the base of my salad. What else?
We'll add some protein. Grilled salmon or chicken are always good options.
Okay, protein, check. What about dressing? I usually go for the creamy dressings, but I have a feeling those aren't the best for my arteries.
You're right to be mindful of the dressing. Instead of those heavier, creamy ones, try olive oil and vinegar.
Olive oil and vinegar, that's a classic.
It is, or even just a squeeze of lemon juice.
Oh, yeah, lemon juice would be nice and light.
Exactly. You get the flavor without all the unhealthy fats and additives.
So olive oil and vinegar or lemon juice for the dressing.
Oh.
Got it. Anything else I can add to my salads?
Well, don't forget avocado. It adds that creamy texture you love.
Avocados.
And remember, they're full of those heart-healthy monounsaturated fats.
Good fats.
And for a little extra crunch and nutrients, add a sprinkle of nuts or seeds.
Ooh, I love that idea. Okay, so I've got my breakfast and lunch sorted. Now, what about snacks? I'm a big snacker, and I tend to reach for processed snacks when I get hungry between meals.
Yeah, I think a lot of us can relate to that.
But those are definitely not good for our arteries, right?
You're right. Those processed snacks are often loaded with sugar, unhealthy fats, and tons of sodium. It's no wonder they call it junk food.
Junk food, yeah, that's a good way to put it. So, what are some healthier snack options? Things that won't sabotage my efforts to keep my arteries in tip-top shape.
The key is to keep it simple and focus on whole foods.
Whole foods, okay.
A handful of almonds or walnuts is a great choice.
Nuts, yeah, those are good.
You get protein, fiber, and those heart-healthy fats all in one little package.
Easy and nutritious.
Exactly. Or try some fruit with a little bit of nut butter.
Fruit and nut butter.
Yeah, it's a delicious combo. The fruit gives you vitamins and antioxidants.
And the nut butter adds some protein and healthy fats.
Exactly.
Those are way better choices than the chips and cookies I usually go for.
I think your arteries will thank you for making the switch.
I think so too. Okay, so we've covered breakfast, lunch, and snacks. What about dinner? Any suggestions for making our evening meals more artery-friendly?
Well, try to incorporate fish into your meal plan at least twice a week.
Fish, okay.
We talked about all the benefits of those omega-3 fatty acids that are found in fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and tuna.
Right, omega-3s, those are the good guys.
Exactly.
What are some other heart-healthy dinner ideas?
Lentil soup is a great choice.
Lentil soup, yummy.
It's hearty and satisfying. Lentils are packed with fiber and protein.
Okay, that's a good one. What else?
Stir fries are another great option. You can load them up with colorful veggies and a lean protein source like tofu or chicken.
Stir fries, yeah. Those are quick and easy to make, and they're so versatile you can put almost anything in them.
Exactly. and that they're a great way to get a variety of nutrients in one meal.
Speaking of variety, what about spices? Can we use spices to boost the flavor and the heart health benefits of our meals?
Absolutely. Spices are your secret weapon in the kitchen.
Ooh, secret weapon. I like that. Which ones are the best for our arteries?
Garlic and turmeric are your best friends.
Garlic and turmeric, those are classics.
They are. And you can add them to almost anything. Soups, stews, stir-fries, roasted veggies. The possibilities are endless.
We talked about how powerful those spices are when it comes to fighting inflammation and protecting our arteries.
Right, they're like tiny but mighty warriors for our health.
Now, what about cayenne pepper? Can we use that too?
Definitely. A pinch of cayenne pepper can add a nice kick to your chili or even your avocado toast.
Oh, yeah, I love spicy food.
And remember, that heat comes from capsaicin, which we know helps improve circulation and can even reduce plaque buildup.
So a little spice is good for the heart.
Exactly. It's all about adding flavor and boosting those health benefits at the same time.
This is all great advice. As I start making these changes to my diet, is there anything else I should keep in mind?
Well, it's important to remember that everyone is different.
Right. What works for one person might not work for another.
Exactly. Listen to your body and pay attention to how different foods make you feel. Some people might find that certain foods, like garlic or onions, cause digestive discomfort. It's all about finding what works best for you and making adjustments as needed.
That's a good reminder. It's not about following a rigid set of rules. It's about finding a balance that works for me.
Exactly. It's about making sustainable changes that you can stick with long term.
Sustainable changes, that's key. I don't want to make drastic changes that I can't keep up with.
And it's all about progress, not perfection. Don't try to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Start by incorporating 1 or 2 new foods each week.
1 or 2 new foods a week, that sounds manageable.
It is. Small changes can make a big difference over time.
I like that. It's about consistency.
And another tip, try to cook at home more often.
Cook at home, yeah.
That way you have more control over the ingredients and the portion sizes.
That's true. And when I cook at home, I can avoid all those hidden sugars and unhealthy fats that are lurking in processed foods.
Exactly. Plus, cooking can be a fun and rewarding experience.
It can. It's a chance to get creative in the kitchen and try new things.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to get your family and friends involved. Cooking together can be a lot of fun.
I love that idea. It's about making healthy eating a social and enjoyable experience.
Exactly. It shouldn't feel like a chore.
This has been such an informative deep dive. We've learned so much about the foods that can benefit our arteries, and we've got some practical tips on how to incorporate them into our lives.
I agree. It's been a great journey of discovery. And remember, even small changes can make a big difference over time.
That's right. Every healthy choice we make is a step in the right direction. It's not about being perfect, it's about making progress.
Well said. And don't forget to enjoy the process. Eating should be a pleasurable experience.
It should. It's about finding that balance between healthy and delicious.
And, as always, if you have any concerns or questions, it's a good idea to talk to your doctor or a registered dietitian. They can provide personalized advice and help you create a plan that's right for you.
That's great advice. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into artery health. We hope you feel inspired and empowered to make choices that support your cardiovascular well-being.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep those arteries happy and healthy.